fee and other things. The same is applicable to the firm located in Japan which wants dollar. उसको डॉलर जापान में भी मिल जाएंगे लेकिन हाई प्राइस पे मिलेंगे, आप कहीं भी ट्राई कर लीजिए. Okay, so what happens is that they come across, there are banks which perform this function of swap brokerage. They are often known as swap dealers. So what happens that these swap dealers or swap banks, they, they are being, they are, can you mute your mic, please? So it is through the swap dealers, these parties are brought together. So what happens, the company located in USA, it buys US dollars, and the one located in Japan buys the Japanese yen. And then through that swap dealer, they exchange the currencies. So overall arrangement works out to be economical for all the three parties involved. That is company A, company B, and the swap dealer. Obviously, it requires a lot of, as I'm trying, in order to illustrate my point. If time permits, I'll show you an example subsequently. But today, it's an introductory session. Please, kindly mute your mic. So, one function is being performed by the treasurer, the other is the controller, which is dealing with the accounting and auditing and taxation aspect for the purpose of disclosure, for the purpose of
कितने महंगे बैठ रहा है वो 8 विंग के बीच.
Yeah, that's better. Okay. So this is roughly a general idea about the finance function, and it is within these I would say set of activities the financial managers, they are working. So I'm sure you will find things much familiar after what we have discussed yesterday. Now, what are the roles and responsibilities of international financial managers? As it is mentioned, they need to keep themselves updated with the changes taking place in the international business environment. And it goes for all the managers, whether you are a finance manager in a home country or whether you are performing internationally. So what you need to monitor, what you need to keep a close eye on is the exchange rates, how the exchange rates are moving, what are the currencies which are becoming stronger, what are the currencies which are becoming weaker. So it is important because generally, what happens is, and it is something which is true for almost all the business functions, that you try to buy a commodity at a low price and sell it at a high price, so you make a profit. So the same is applicable for the foreign currencies. Try to buy the currencies when they are priced low and try to sell them when their price appreciates in the foreign exchange market. Same is applicable for the interest rates also, and that is why perhaps the finance managers, when they are operating in the international markets, so they have a choice. They can take loans or they can borrow money from those banks which are offering a lower rate of interest, right? And they can invest in those banks or markets which are offering a higher rate of interest, right? So you need to keep a close watch on the exchange rates, on the rates of interest which are available, on the relative inflation between different countries. So we already talked about credit conditions at home and abroad, changes in the industrial tax or the tax rates, the stock market trends, the different trade policies or regulations of different countries, and any new financial instruments in addition to what you may call as the the equity and bonds. So there are many different types of stock traded funds. There are different types of innovations which are there in the international markets. There are exchange traded funds. There are commodity linked funds. There's a whole variety. There are depository receipts. The scope of this paper does not allow us to go into the details. There are different web traded funds. So there's a big, there's a host of variety. There's a plethora of choice to choose from. The other thing, as which is natural, that to understand and analyze the complex relationships or interrelationships between relevant environment variables and corporate responses, like the impact of these stock market crashes on credit conditions in the international markets, impact of privatization of infrastructure sectors, impact of takeover of major competitors by a foreign multinational corporation, right? So obviously one needs to be vigilant of the developments taking place, the changes taking place in the international business environment. And then to be able to adapt the finance function to significant changes in the firm's own strategic position or posture, like some changes in the firm's product mix, the product market mix, opening up of a sector or industries so far, which was, maybe it was initially not allowed in that market, increased pace of diversification. So these are some of the things. I'll not go into the details. These are some theoretical aspects. So although we have been talking about it, the external sources of funds, especially for the purpose of acquisition of funds or acquisition of money for the business. Now you have a choice. You have, as we were discussing, American depository receipts or global depository receipts. We have Indian depository receipts. You have European depository receipts. Depending upon the market where these receipts are traded. Can anybody tell me what exactly these are, if anybody has an idea about the deposit?
American deposit receipts are the amount of loan or the investment we can take from America, and global deposits are the amount of investment we can take from the globally from different countries, companies of the different countries.
Okay. Any other idea? Each depository receipt in which a person invests, so it represents a certain number of shares. Although the ADRs or GDRs, there are no voting rights as such, but they are very much similar to the equity that is being traded on the different stock exchanges or in the different stock markets. So it is like a certificate that you buy from a particular, say, stock market where the uh, depository receipt is being traded. And depository receipt, it is called because there is an important intermediary which is known as the depository, which is managing the funds, and it is meant for that particular stock exchange or for that particular market. So these are some innovations, although they have been in the market for quite some time. In strict sense of the word, you may not call them as innovations, but they are definitely different from the equities or the stocks which are being traded. Similarly, you have the international debt markets. You have foreign bonds, the bonds denominated in different currencies. You have euro bonds, the bonds which are which are being traded in the European markets, but they are, denominated in some other currencies. You have global bonds. So there is a whole, new set. You have a lot of choice to choose from depending upon the strength of currencies. Some of the currencies, as I was telling you, that it makes sense to buy the currencies when they are cheaper, and then you can sell them off when they have appreciated in it, their value in the foreign exchange rate markets. So you can go for these bonds when they are priced low, and obviously depending upon what kind of interest rate they are paying to you. Similarly, there are in the international markets, you also have uh, different say markets like the spot market, which allows you to buy the currencies at which are immediately needed. I mean, for your current needs, generally the finance managers, they buy currencies from the spot market. And whereas if you anticipate a future need, a need in the future, say after 3 months you require 1 lakh US dollars, or after 6 months you require 2 lakh US dollars, like that. So for such requirements, the spot market is not used. There is a market which is called as a forward market or a future market. So you can go for the forward market and you can buy 1 lakh dollars 3 months forward. So in such cases, the advantage is that if you do this kind of an arrangement, that today, if you buy say 1 lakh US dollars 3 months forward, so the price is locked in. Now, whatever may be the price after 3 months, you don't have to worry about that, because that price is already, pre-agreed upon right at the beginning of entering into the forward contract. So you can buy currencies forward, you can sell currencies forward depending upon your requirements. Similarly, there are options markets. They are also an instrument of speculation. You have commodity futures. So there are, you have a very, very big choice before you, especially when you are dealing with different types of currencies. And then, as it is mentioned here, you have back to back loans. We will see this with the help of an example. You have swaps, which is an advanced version of back to back loans. These back to back loans are also called as parallel loans. Then you also have convertible bonds and all. There are so many, amalgamations or hybrids which are available. Now, if you look at this diagram of a back to back loan, now what you see, that it shows that there is a parent company, the parent multinational company, which is located in, say, country A, and it has a subsidiary. It has its business unit which is located in country B. Okay. Now, due to some restrictions on the movement of funds, especially large funds, and also because of prohibitively high transaction cost. The direct movement of fund from the home country, I mean, from the parent company, from the headquarter to the subsidiary, it might not be possible or it might not be financially feasible. So, in such a situation, an alternative arrangement is done. As you can see, suppose you have, say, a bank, an international bank, say Bank of New York, which has its presence, which has its subsidiaries in country A as well as in country B. So what will happen that the parent company will deposit cash. It will, maybe do some kind of a fixed deposit with the overseas branch of a bank, right? Which also has its branch in country B. So now, once it has deposited that a certain amount, say 1 lakh US dollars. So what will happen? The branch of that bank, or the main branch, as it is shown here in this diagram, it will release loan in favor of the subsidiary, right? So it is somewhat, I would say, that indirect way of arranging funds for the subsidiary. Directly, I mean, had there been no hindrances, no obstacles, no issues, so directly it would have been, that parent A would have sent it directly to the subsidiary. But now, because direct remittances are somewhat restricted, so it is an indirect way that you choose a branch, you choose a bank which has its presence in both the countries. So in one of its branch, you deposit the money, and the other branch, which is located in the other country, will release funds in favor of its subsidiary. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना?
Sir,
तो ये
how
एक
much
तरह का
time will it
पहले
take this process? No, sir, how much time will it take to this process to complete?
it might be almost, depending upon the processing time, because once the money that has been submitted by or deposited by parent a company, maybe at times it happens that you have a very good understanding, and it is not something, a one time activity. It is something which is going on a continuous basis. So already their documentation and everything is ready. So it might be almost instantaneous also, because they know, once you have that assurance that this company is doing business with us, because this is also giving a lot of profits to the bank also for doing this service. So bank knows that this is, this depends on the long term relationship between the bank and its client. So whatever documents and other things are required, they just take care of it, sometimes in advance. Sometimes they say that, okay, we will do it, ye to hota rahega, like this. Many times it happens that, say for example, मैं आपको बताऊं, कहीं किसी document की जरूरत है, but you have a good relationship with that organization and you have gone there for some work, तो वो कहते हैं अच्छा ठीक है, आप ये मंगवा लीजिए, इतने हम आपका काम process करते हैं, like this. So time is not something very important in this, but yes, obviously when you are doing with a business with a bank for the first time, it might definitely require some time till all the documentations and necessary formalities are fulfilled. So you have raised a very relevant point. But for all practical purpose, especially when you have a long-term relationship with the banks, so this would be something almost instantaneous. Once the receipt of funds from the parent company is confirmed, so almost immediately you can release funds in the favor of the subsidiary. Okay. These are some of the factors which we have already discussed, factors which are affecting the choice of external sources of funds. Obviously, the cost of capital, how much in terms of the rate of interest, that is an important thing. The rate of interest is the cost of the capital which you are required to pay to the lending institution, the foreign exchange fluctuations, because many times it happens that because of an unfavorable movement of exchange rates against a currency. So if you have borrowed your money in a particular currency, so in such a situation, when it is time for you to return the loan, or when it is time for you to pay back the loan, by that time, not only the rate of interest which you are required to pay anyhow, there is an additional financial burden, because the currency, your home currency, has become weaker vis-a-vis the currency in which you have the loan denominated, right? आप इस बात से अंदाजा लगाइए कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ से you have taken a loan of $1,000 and at that time the exchange rate was, say, $1 equals to 70 Indian rupees. ठीक है? तो आपकी जो liability है, we are not talking about the interest rate, we're just talking about the equivalent amount in the Indian rupees. So for $1,000, given the exchange rate at $1 equals to 70 rupees, your liability is 70,000 rupees. Say 6 months down the line, when you have to pay back the principal also, by that time the exchange rates have become $1 equals to rupees 75. So now your liability becomes how much?
75,000.
75,000 हो गई, तो 5,000 रुपए का नुकसान हो गया ना?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? इंटरेस्ट जो देना था वो तो देना ही है, ये 5,000 रुपए का नुकसान हो गया. So one has to be very careful. That is why you need to be very careful about which currencies you need to take loan. Obviously वो इस बात से भी गाइडेड होती है कि आप किस कंट्री में काम कर रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं कि आप यूरोप में काम कर रहे हैं और आप लोन जो है जापानीज येन में ले लें, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं. आपको उसी करेंसी में लोन लेना है जिस करेंसी में आपके, जिसे कहते हैं, बिजनेस transactions हो रहे हैं, right? So the choice is restricted in this sense, but one has to keep a watch on the exchange rate movements. So इसमें कई बार ये भी होता है कि अगर आपकी करेंसी थोड़ी वीक हो रही है एंड से आप, तो ये भी है कि आप 6 महीने तक वेट ना करें. आपको जब भी लगे कि you can pay off the loan, you just pay it off instead of incurring a loss. And when we are talking about just $1,000, then your loss is, say, 5,000 rupees. Right, but obviously in the magnitude of international transactions is much more, it is much higher. So naturally the losses will also be of similar magnitude, of similar nature. So just to
sir, in practical there can be an agreement between both the parties, so there is no effect of fluctuation can occur, or is it?
Yes, it happens. Very, very true. It is called as risk sharing. Risk sharing होती है उसमें. They, especially again, this happens between those parties where you have a long-term relationship, long-term business relationships. So they agree that to a certain level, say, अगर वो ±5% है या ±10% fluctuations है, so they agree कि इसमें we will share it, we will share the risk. कोई ऐसी बात नहीं, अगर profit है we will share it, if there's a loss we will share it. So ultimately it evens out. कभी exchange rate fluctuations आपके फेवर में है, कभी आपके जो है अगेंस्ट में है. So when you are having a risk sharing agreement with your business partner, so such kind of fluctuations or the profits or losses they get even out. But obviously if there are fluctuations beyond the prescribed margin or pre-agreed upon margin, then obviously they are not taken care of by these such contracts. उस सब के लिए आपको फिर and you need to have some kind of a hedge or cover. Usme you may have, obviously you have insurance. You also have, as I was talking to you about, the forward rate markets. So forward rate market is also used for hedging your funds. Futures market is also there for hedging. You have options. So all these, I mean, there are so many instruments which are there, which one has to use in a, very wisely, so as to cover your or hedge your financial position and protect yourself against possible losses. Okay. So these are some of the factors which we need to consider for when we are sourcing the funds: the cost of capital, forex fluctuations, currency stability, political stability, taxation, and the control over the subsidiaries. So we will stop here, and tomorrow when we meet, we'll continue from this slide, that is about the advantages and disadvantages of equity financing. And if possible, I'll try to give you some more inputs about the international equities. So thanks for joining. We'll meet tomorrow. Okay.